man, so every once in a while, there's a topic that comes along, and I just can't help but get in on it. And the latest one is this whole conversation about black people and tipping in restaurants. I have extensive knowledge on this one because I worked in food service industry for roughly 15 to 20 years. I worked in fine dining restaurants, fast food restaurants, banquets, not to mention all the other jobs that I have involve customer service to some degree, where I work directly with clients. So I can speak personally to having years, like I said, like years and years and years of case study on this topic. And unfortunately, it's not false. It is an actual thing. And it's so bad at times that I over tip to counter it, to what's the phrase? Counter the narrative, just to make it so that when somebody deals with me, they can look at it and go, well, at least this one wasn't as bad. Like, most recently, I gave a bartender a $20 tip when I was just overheard the way a person was acting at the bar, because I just didn't want to risk that person decided to treat the bartender horrible because of her issue that she had a problem with that had nothing to do with the bartender. But I can give a handful of stories as to why people say what they say, because like I said, I worked in this industry for a very long time. First one was at a restaurant called Baker Square. If you've never been there, it's just one of those all-around restaurants, a slight step up from Coney Island, specializes in dessert, all the regular stuff, burgers, sandwiches, chicken fingers, fish and chip, all that regular stuff. It's nothing special about the place. And it's the closest equivalent, like I said, would be a Coney Island or a Grand Traverse Pie Company or something like that. Anyway, I would have a woman that would come in on a regular basis, like weekly, with a guy about 20 years older than her and a little boy about 6 years old. They would let the little boy take all the sugar packets off the table, open them, pour them all over the place, dump the paper on the floor, make a huge mess, break all the crayons. They order the same thing every time, like a shrimp scampi and a Caesar salad. Their bill would be like $30 or $40. They would tip $1.50 regularly. And this was like over 20 years ago, so standard tipping practice was 10 to 15%. It's like 25% now, but back then it was 10 to 15. So $1.50, that's like they would tip like 5% or less. That's how bad it was. It was so bad that the manager offered to buy them dinner at a restaurant down the street because every single server had a problem dealing with them, because they made a humongous mess, ran them back and forth for extra napkins, extra this, extra that. Order was never standard, always specific, and then they tipped horrible. Another example, at the same place, a group of women would come in, it was like 3 of them with like 7 kids, would let the kids tear up everything. This group said, and I quote, "We need a break from them." They would ask to be sat at a different table than their own children. And the kids would go nuts. And by go nuts, I mean, they got upset with me because I asked them to ask their children to stop crawling around in the walkway directly in front of the door because I didn't want them to get trampled. And they said, "What do you want us to do? Stop them from being themselves?" End quote. They also watched their smallest one, who was about 3, take her tongue and drag it across the glass of the pie case. And by pie case, I mean, again, if you go to Coney Island or Big Boy or something like that, you've seen it. It's a big giant glass refrigerator. Front is all glass. I had just cleaned it. And I just simply told her, I just don't want her to be drinking Windex because I just cleaned it. And she had an attitude with me about it. In fact, they asked me if they needed to have a different server because they felt like I had an issue with them. I don't have an issue with you. I just don't understand why you letting your kids tear everything up. But that was them. Another one, fast forward, I worked at a restaurant fast food place called Steak and Shake. Burger and shake place. Lady comes in. Actually, the lady goes in drive-thru, orders a milkshake, says she wants it extra thick or whatever. I say, cool, no problem. I say, You got about 4 cars in front of you. They all have very large orders. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a bit of a wait. However, if you would like to come in, you can just grab your shake since it's the only thing you have. It'll be a lot faster. Either way, I got your order put in. I'll get it ready for you. So she goes and parks directly across from the drive-thru window so I can see her, glares at me as she walks in, immediately asks to speak to the manager, and then proceeds to just lie. Says to the manager, if I had wanted to come in, I would have did that in the first place. I went through drive-thru because I didn't feel like getting out of my car. And the manager says, well, why did you come in? She said, because he told me I had to and I couldn't place my order through drive-thru. And the manager looked at her and said, no, he didn't. She says, how you gonna tell me? He said, because I wear a headset. We monitor through the headsets all the time. I heard exactly what he told you. He offered to have you come in so you could get your order faster. In fact, it's ready right now. If you had waited outside, you'd still be there for at least another 10 minutes. He's like, he was trying to do you a favor, not tell you you had to get out of your car. Now she's mad because she wanted to come in and complain and make up her story, and it didn't work. So then she came in again the next week and complained and said that her shake wasn't thick enough because you're supposed to be able to turn the container upside down to prove that it's thick enough, and she wanted it to last before she got home in Detroit from Livonia. Now, if you're not from Michigan, Detroit to Livonia is at best 20 minutes, but probably longer than that, given the time of the day that she would come in, which was rush hour right around like 2 or 3 o'clock. So she was buying a shake that she wanted you to make like ice cream so she could sit on it and keep it until she got home. I don't know why. It makes no sense, but there you have it. All of the women in these stories, unfortunately, black women. And this is the stuff that they talk about when they say stuff like this. So when y'all get mad, here's what I tell you, what I tell everybody. If you are in a group and your group gets a bad name about something, you need to fix it. Just need to. I know y'all don't like accountability. I know my people sometimes love to run from it, but is what it is. I could go through story after 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 story all day long. And the majority of the worst ones was from our own people all the time. Always. And it sucks. I'm glad I don't work in the industry anymore, but it sucks. So when you hear people talking about it, just understand, I can tell you firsthand, they not making it up.